What is up, everybody? Andrew here with the Medellin Buzz, and today is, let me fix the camera here. Today is the 10th of January. It's 5:02 p.m. here in Medellin, Colombia, and it's been a great day so far. Just got back from the gym, actually. That's why I'm running 3 minutes late. It's 5:03 p.m. Hope everyone's had a great day today, great week so far. It's hump day. It's the middle of the week. And the topic for today is why you shouldn't move to Medellin, or the type of person that shouldn't move to Medellin. There are various types of people that shouldn't be moving to Medellin, but we're going to focus on just a few tips, or not even tips, just a few type of characteristics that if you have these characteristics, if this is the type of person that you are, you probably won't enjoy your time in Medellin, Colombia. A lot of you guys could probably guess what type of person this would be if you've been to Medellin. A lot of you have been to Medellin before, and you probably know that it's not for everybody. You have you have all walks of life here. Obviously, within the Paisa culture, within the Colombian people, you see people from all over the place, and with all different types of varying personalities. But if you're a foreigner, there are some things that you should be aware of before you move down here. It's super important. So we'll be going over those. Hope everyone's having a good day. What's up, Heidi? How's it going? Zombie, what's up, everybody? How's it going? Zombie, hope you're having a great day today. Life is good. Hey, David. What's up, Colombian Spanish? Hello to everyone. I've been loving Andrew's content. Definitely we are with the best. Thanks. I appreciate you. So that's the topic for today. Before I get into the topic, we gotta address some of the things that have happened this first 10 days into the year here in Medellin. The new mayor is in full effect. He's been in office since the 31st of December, and he's already made an impact or I guess a visible impact. He's very big on social media. I'll give him that. He's very active on social media, but he's been really adamant about safety. So today he had a big meeting with the Fiscalia, or I guess the prosecutor of the country, of the nation, the top prosecutor, and his the person below him as well, and all of the national police. He had a meeting with them today about beefing up safety in Medellin and cracking down on all sorts of crime, not just the crime that tourists encounter, like druggings of foreigners in order to rob them, but also petty thefts, Colombian on Colombian, because Colombians are the ones that are the most to get robbed here in Medellin. Obviously, there are more Colombians than there are foreigners, so Colombians are getting robbed more, and they're getting robbed by Colombians. That's been one of the biggest things that has happened lately, is that Fico, as he goes by, Federico Gutierrez, has been very adamant about security. Zombie ended up you ended up with a day off. Nice, glad to hear it. When will you stream Fortnite again? It's been almost a month, and I want to play with you. I'm on pretty much every day, Heidi. I never see you on. If you want to play off stream, I'm always on. Well, I'm always on in the evening or at night. I don't know if I'll ever stream again Fortnite. I've just been too busy with this stream. I've committed to this stream a lot more than the other. So speaking of safety, I haven't heard any news of anything in the first 10 days of January. I guess this is good, of anybody getting drugged or robbed in the city, or even worse, passing away due to a robbery like that. So that's been a plus this year so far. So let me open up my notes here. Let's see. All right. So this is the type of stuff that you don't want to do when you are wanting to move to Medellin. These are the type of people that shouldn't come to Medellin. You definitely shouldn't come to Medellin if you are looking for a tranquil place to just relax. The city is not like that. Even in quiet neighborhoods, there's always something going on. If you are a person that values silence and space and tranquility, the city may not be for you. Maybe Envigado, like far into the hills of Envigado, or maybe in a small town nearby, if that's the type of person you are. If you're looking for something slow-paced, quiet, with not much disruption or chaos, then Medellin might not be for you. If you've been to Medellin, you understand what I'm talking about. There's always something going on. There's always some sort of noise, even if it's just ambient noise. Like, for example, the birds, the macaws coming at 5 a.m. to wake your ass up with their loud squawking. If you've ever heard a macaw squawk or a parakeet make its squawking noise, you know that this is a very loud noise. So if you're looking for peace and quiet, Medellin will not be the place for you. If you're looking to meditate, and I mean, you could probably do yoga and meditate in certain places, but you're never going to get like that full silence like you would, for example, up in the hills or up in in different pueblos or small towns nearby. So that's the first type of person. If you're a person that wants peace and quiet, tranquility, slow-paced life, just want to come down here and wait to die, because some people prefer that, and that's okay. Medellin may not be the place for you. Yeah, so that's number one is if you like your peace and quiet and you like your personal space, and I guess you can get that if you got into a high rise somewhere and never left your apartment. You could probably get some of that, and if that's what floats your boat, I guess that's okay. I mean, it is okay. I don't really care. But most people like to get out. The reason they move to Medellin or come down to Medellin and live, whether it's part-time, full-time, or even just as a frequent visitor, the reason they come down here is because it's a different lifestyle. There's always different things to do. You can experience new things, different things. So I guess for the person that maybe has never been to Medellin and is looking for maybe a spiritual retreat, the city might not be for you. Maybe one of the towns like Santa Elena, who actually do cater to like spiritual retreats, etc., would be for you. But that's the beautiful thing about Medellin is that Medellin is close enough to small towns where you can actually get away from the city. I mean, you can be in Santa Elena in 45 minutes or less, and be in complete silence and in the wilderness, I guess, in the countryside. Jamie, what's up, Jayos? Jamie, I read chaos. Wait, Zombie says chaos and noise is my tranquility. Buddha, what's up, Buddha? Buddha says Bogota just had a high scopolamine incident with a tourist. I am curious to see if much of that activity displaces out of Medellin with Fico in as mayor. Well, I'll tell you what. I think people that are, like the criminals, they're definitely aware of Fico because he has, his reputation precedes him. He's been the mayor before, and he's locked up a lot of people, and now he wants to build a 2,500 person jail here. So he intends on locking up even more criminals. So I think people that are in that world of crime here are probably very aware and maybe are thinking twice, right? Jamie says, do you have any expat veteran friends that use VA clinic there? I'm relocating to Colombia in a couple months, and I'm curious about the facility there. I plan on staying in Cartagena initially. I heard that the VA facility here is great. I have a few VA friends. Also, there's a VA office in Sabaneta. So that goes to show you how many VA veterans there are out here, where they had to actually have a physical office in Sabaneta, which is the town, or I guess the city adjacent to Medellin, or very close to Medellin. Dímelo, Andrew. What's up, Jerbo? I'll be at y'all Medellin meetup this month on the 27th. Let's go. Yeah, we're going to have a Medellin Buzz meetup on the 27th. We're going to meet up and everybody's going to meet. We're going to do like a networking event, etc. Slash language exchange too, because I'm inviting a bunch of my Colombian friends as well. So we'll practice English, practice Spanish, get to know people, have a few drinks, and maybe go dancing. I think one of the characteristics that might be of high value for foreigners is that this is really the main city of digital marketing and entrepreneurship of Colombia, maybe even Latin America. Well, I mean, I think you're right as far as independents go. Like, for example, independent people working here for companies outside of Medellin. Yeah, but as far as like this being a hub for getting a job in marketing, it might not be better than Bogota or have more opportunities, but definitely there is a community of people that do that here, right? There's a large community of digital marketing experts and people that run their own businesses online. But if it's for like an actual opportunity, I think physical opportunities obviously are more abundant in Bogota because they have what, like 10 million people there, 9 million people. What's up? Heidi, you're going to be watching, but you're going to go play with friends. Nice. No worries. Grill Man, moving there in July. Looking forward to the lifestyle change coming from Fort Lauderdale near Miami, hunting for apartments in the Manila area. Your videos have been a great help. Thanks. No problem, Grill Man. I appreciate that. I'm assuming that you like to grill. You know, I'm vegan, but I love watching people grill for some reason. I love watching people cook, whatever it is, whether it's like a vegan cook or a chef or someone that cooks meat. I really don't care because it gives me ideas. So that's funny that your name is Grillman 6000. Sean Riley says, I hope you and yours are feeling well. My question right now is there a retirement visa? You have to get a health certificate. What is that? I don't know the exact process for the retirement visa, but I know that for most visas, you have to get some sort of insurance, not like a health insurance, but an actual insurance that covers certain things, like important things. Like if you die here, who's going to cover the cost? This insurance will cover the cost of transporting your body back to your country. That's the type of insurance that most visas have to get. I don't know about the retirement visa per se or exactly, but good question. What kind of health certificate? I'm assuming just because it's a retirement visa, there's got to be some sort of health requirement you have to fit into, right? That would make sense. All right, so the first type of person that shouldn't move to Medellin, if you are a person that values tranquility, silence, peace, and no chaos, and just a mundane, leave it to beaver type of life, then you do not belong in Medellin. You will hate it here, actually. People come here initially as a tourist, right? They come here and visit, and they're like, "Man, this is such a great place." I rented an Airbnb for a week or 2 weeks, and it was awesome because their budget allowed for that 2-week stay, right? So they maybe stayed in a high rise in El Poblado where it was quiet, but then they want to come down here for a longer term. That same budget doesn't fit for someone that wants to stay long term. Let me explain that better. So if you're here for 2 weeks and your budget for 2 weeks is, I don't know, you're coming down here with, $2,000 or $3,000 for those 2 weeks because it's your vacation for the whole year and you're going to, do whatever and whenever and have a great time down here. And let's say you have $2,000 or $3,000 for that 2 weeks. You come down here, you get an Airbnb for 2 weeks up in El Poblado in a high rise that has a pool, a sauna, maybe a little workout room or a little gym, and it's situated up in the hills where there's not much noise, and on top of that, you're like on the 13th or maybe 20th floor, so you're not getting much noise, you're having beautiful views, the air quality is probably a little bit better up there as well, and on Airbnb, you spent $1,000 for the whole week or maybe $1,200 for the whole week for that place. And then you go back and you're like, man, I missed that, I want to go back, but then realize that if you're going to stay for 3 months, you're not going to be able to pay for that same location. You might have to be living in a lower income neighborhood, not a strato 6, but maybe a strato 5 or a 4 in Laureles, in Belén, or even in parts of El Poblado, but that are closer to the major streets where you can afford, where the I guess where you can afford those 3 months of staying here, right? So that changes your whole lifestyle. If you've cherished that little place that you were in that was super quiet, that was super nice, and then you have to kind of downgrade, and you're like, man, I don't like noise, and everywhere I go for $500 a month budget has noise everywhere. Well, yeah, it's $500 for a furnished apartment. You're not going to get much. You're not going to be in a high rise with amenities, right? Unless if you're sharing a room, and then at that point you're sharing with people, and that's not very cool if you're an older person, right? So that's that's kind of like the experience I've seen with some of the people that come down here and then are disappointed because they realize that they can't afford what they could on vacation as a normal life, and then they got to start all over again. So that's number one. If you value peace of mind, if you cherish quiet, if you cherish silence, Medellin will not be for you. The other type of person that doesn't belong in Medellin, in my opinion, is the person that is, I just mentioned it, living on a very low budget, right? Back in 2010 to 2015, the type of traveler that was coming to Medellin was like the backpacker. There was hostels. You could stay at a hostel for 20,000 pesos a night, in a bunk bed. And people loved it because they'd come down here. They'd be able to party for cheap, stay here for cheap, and that was it. But if you're over 40, you're not going to be staying in hostels. I mean, you might. I mean, when I travel sometimes to like Mexico and stuff, I stay in boutique hostels because I know those are the places that have things going on, like tours, etc. And I get a private room. I don't do the bunk beds anymore, but when I was younger, I did. But if you've got a budget of $500 or even $1,000 a month, your experience in Medellin is probably not going to be optimal. It's not going to be great. You're not going to enjoy it as much as someone that has a larger budget. So if you're coming down here with $500 a month or $1,000 a month, Medellin might not be for you. As a matter of fact, I'll just flat out say it. Medellin won't be for you because you're going to be living in a lower income neighborhood. And I don't know. I'm one of those people that subscribe to the frame of thought that if you are living in a first world, in a developed nation, with all of the opportunities in the world, there's no need to come down to a third world nation to live like a poor person. I mean, that's flat out that's the honest truth. One of my friends, my business partner's dad said, if you're coming down to a third world, you better be offering something, not trying to take from them, which is what I subscribe to. And so if you're coming down here with $1,000 or $500 a month, you could get by. But I mean, really, what kind of quality of life are you really expecting to get out of that, right? It's tough. It's tough. What's up, DV904? Manila is awesome. Yeah, I love Manila. Manila is my neighborhood. I've been living here now for 7 years out of the 14 years that I've been here. Grillman says, I cherish walkability and minimal need to ever need a ride, Uber or daily repetitive and frequent tasks and activities. Yeah, like for example, Grillman, that's a great point. So I like the fact that you said daily repetitive and frequent tasks and activities. So for example, I have a business, or I have a couple businesses. So I do have daily repetitive tasks, meaning that I enjoy. Like it's part of my lifestyle. I've mentioned this in a previous live that my whole existence, or the goal of my existence right now is for lifestyle design. Like the reason I do the things that I do, for example, like this live right now, all comes for a grand scheme of my happiness and my lifestyle design. So all of these tasks that I have to do, for example, like, get up in the morning, I have my morning routine, and then I get in front of the computer, or I'll walk over to the co-working space, get on the computer, go to our task management system, and I have like a system that I do, or I guess some tasks that I do repetitively that I do in order to make sure to track the businesses. But I do it because I enjoy it, and I do it because I want to do it, not because I need to do it. I think there's a big difference between having to do something repetitively and not wanting to do it and not enjoying it. And then there's the difference of actually doing something because you have a bigger vision and you have a dream and you enjoy doing what you're doing, and you can see it coming to fruition through consistency and persistence, right? That's one of the big things that I learned from, I think, Denzel Washington. I have many mentors, and wherever you are in your life right now, this was something I was thinking about while I was on the treadmill before this live, was that I hope that this live and me going live every Wednesday and Saturday, every single day for the rest of this year, if anything, motivates you to get to that next level or to whatever it is that you're trying to reach in life. Denzel Washington put it this way: you need CCP and anything in life. And that's what I've done with my life here in Medellin, with my businesses in Medellin, with my relationships that I've had in Medellin, whether they're friendships or with my girlfriends or with my acquaintances. It's all an acronym, CCP. So the first C stands for commitment. The second C stands for consistency. And the last, and the P stands for persistence. And that's basically what will guide you to success in whatever it is that you do in life. And that's what I've applied. So I'd like to share this. Commitment means that you make a promise to yourself. Whatever it is that you want to do in life, you make a promise to yourself and you commit to yourself. And commitment will get you started, will get you out of your bed in the morning and say, okay, I got to do this. I want to do this. I've committed to doing this. I've made a promise to myself, and I have a high self-worth. So I'm going to keep my word to myself. I don't care about anybody else but what I commit to myself. So commitment gets you out of the bed. It gets you started. Consistency, that's where discipline comes in, and that's where pain comes in. It's not easy to be disciplined. Sometimes you just don't want. Sometimes you just want to slack off. But if you're disciplined and you have consistency in whatever it is that you're going towards, it'll get you over the hump. So you've got commitment, a promise to yourself, consistency, which is discipline, and then persistence. That's what's going to get you through that finish line. Even if you finish 99th place out of 100, with persistence, it'll make you keep going until you cross that finish line. And that's the most important part, because without failure, you're never going to learn. Without failure, there is no winning. Without failure, there is no progress. So I went off on this tangent because the way that I've designed my life here in Medellin is to reach my goals. And what are my goals for 2024? Well, I'm having a kid, so I want his I want his first 5 years of schooling paid off by the time he is born. That'll be $50,000. Excuse me. This air conditioning has got like the what do you call it? Dust flying around here. So his first 10 years of school are $50,000. So he's going to be born in June. I will generate $50,000 and have that in a savings account by the time he is born. And I'm doing that by way of my digital marketing company, the Medellin Masterclass, and my Airbnbs. I've got that set aside. I've already done the accounting enough to know what I need to do and achieve in order to get that by the time he's born in June. So, but I have to wake up every day and do this. I have to wake up every day, make sure that my personal assistant is putting up ads on Facebook to book out the whole year. On all of my Airbnbs, we're booked up until June now. Imagine it's January. And because I started this in December, we're booked up until June. But every single day I've got to get on her and be like, what have we done? Who's been messaging? How can we get them in the apartment? Can we get a commission to get them into somebody else's apartment? Where can we not lose opportunity? Just things like that. That's where I'm talking about commitment, consistency, and persistence, and it'll get you to the over that hump and crossing that finish line. So Medellin, if if you want that type of lifestyle, Medellin can cater to that. A lot of my friends that own businesses online and they work online and they work from home or they work from the same co-working spaces that I work out of, they all tell me the same thing. They feel super productive in Medellin because Medellin allows for you to have such a low cost of living that you can actually design a life to be productive and at the same time have some balance where you hang out with friends, be social, take salsa lessons, go to the gym every evening, and maybe watch a football game on Sundays, or go to a small town on the weekend with your girlfriend or with your friends to go pueblear, as they call it here. So all of that is possible here in Medellin, but you have to come with the right frame of mind. Otherwise, it's just you're going to hit a brick wall here. What's up? Sorry, let's say hi. Hey, Julian Hurtado, what's up? Julian Hurtado says it does motivate me because you being there, making it happen, and we here in the United States not in that level. It's a shame, Julian. Yeah, but everything comes in due time. Like it's not about comparing yourself. I think you're right. It should be motivating. That's what it is. I don't want people to compare their lives with mine. I share my life with you to motivate you because I'm a college dropout. I've been to prison when I was 22 years old for drugs. I was deported from the United States. I came here broke with just a suitcase full of clothes and a borrowed laptop. And it took me 13 years to get to where I am right now, almost 14 now. So it doesn't happen overnight. And I could have started a YouTube channel long ago, but I was ashamed. And I didn't because I wasn't there yet. And I think that was wrong. Now I kick myself in the butt saying, man, I should have started this channel while I was going through that journey. Instead of, I'm going through a different journey now, but it would have been so much more interesting, I think, if you guys would have known me, 8 years ago when my digital marketing company had just started and I was still basically broke. So I think it would have been interesting, but it doesn't matter. You don't compare yourself to other people. You compare yourself to yourself. And that's what I try to do. And I feed off of other people that have made it, like my mentors, people that I listen to and look up to. Khan, what's up, Khan? I like Airbnb that is close to public transportation. You prefer the metro, the rail? Within 15 minutes walks would be perfect. Yeah, there's so many, Khan. Just get on Airbnb and you'll find there's like a ton of Airbnbs. I've got 2 Airbnbs that are walking distance from the Poblado metro station. So hit me up. My email is in the description below if you want information on my Airbnbs or my friends' Airbnbs. I always love to refer. I have no plans on moving to Colombia, but I still enjoy watching your videos and just wanted to say hello. Hey, why are you tripping? Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I want to transcend just people coming to Medellin. This channel shouldn't just be for people that want to come to Medellin. It's mostly about my life. I can live my life anywhere in the world if I want to, and I would still be talking about the same stuff and doing the same stuff because this is what I love to do. I love to express myself, and I love to hopefully motivate other people, and also I like to empathize with other people. Papi, te quiero, Felix, hombre. What's up? Is that what kind of name is that? Let me see. Hold on. Let me read your message. Papi says from Ronnie Morel. Wait, I love Lowrider and the mamacitas who respect their elders and treat them well. Okay. I need a Manila Airbnb from June 24th to December 1st. Well, depends on your budget. If you want to check out mine, I could send you my links. If not, there's a ton of them, man. There's so many all over the city right now, which is great. It's great. I think it's great for the consumer that there's so many options because a lot of people have had to lower their prices, especially like the middle end type of Airbnbs that are so abundant now. Those have had to reduce prices a lot. So I think it's good for the consumer when there's a lot of inventory. Victor says, hey man, do you think I can cover anything within $2,000 US if I move there with freelance work? Bro, $2,000 a month, that's great. Excuse me. Yeah, $2,000 a month. Yeah, are you kidding me? You're gonna be fine with $2,000 a month. You're going to be just fine. $2,000 a month can cover you very well, especially if you want to live here long term and get an apartment long term. If you're just going to be Airbnb-ing it and you want to be in like El Poblado and you like, nice things, with $2,000, the Airbnb might eat up a lot of that monthly expense. But if you're going to be going like the local route, if you're going to come down here and maybe get a digital nomad visa or get a student visa, and you have a local ID, you open up a bank account, you go through the local means of getting an unfurnished apartment, with $2,000 a month, you're doing great. Even if you wanted to get a furnished apartment at $2,000, but not in El Poblado per se, but let's say in like Laureles or Envigado or Belén or Sabaneta, you can absolutely do that, and you could do it for less than $1,000 a month in those areas. You could definitely do it, and I hope you do. I hope you at least come down and check it out. And the best thing that you could do is take the Medellin Masterclass, where we teach you how to do all of it, or at least the essentials. By the way, our essentials program was about $500. We've now reduced it to $299, just because the essentials program is so far off from what the Medellin Masterclass is. We said that it's a great introductory for everybody, so it should be accessible to everybody. So I highly recommend that you check out the Medellin Masterclass /essentials. It's only $299. We've reduced it from $499, and it teaches you everything about renting an apartment down here without going through Airbnb, how to make friends out here, how to grow a community, how to do all of the things, the essential things that you need to know. So for sure, with $2,000, you're right in that wheelhouse. Julian says, yeah, I hear you. You gotta start somewhere. Exactly. Buddha, I'm only in competition with yesterday's Buddha every day. That's a good one. Elvis, what's up, Elvis? Medellin is not the place to live right now. I think Pereira and Santa Rosa de los Cabales are nice places to live if you know Spanish. Also, no pros, just a married man. Elvis, I'm curious, why isn't Medellin a place to live? Because obviously it's an opinion, and it's your opinion. So it has to have some validity in accordance to your lifestyle, right? Like, I'm curious to know why it isn't the place to live, like for you, because obviously you're speaking about yourself. You're a married man and you don't like prostitutes. I'm not married and I don't do prostitutes, and I live here. I'm having a kid. I'm practically married now, but it's still a place to live for me. So I'm curious. I'm always curious when people say that, because there's especially like on Facebook, you'll see these posts where people say, don't come to Medellin. It's not the place right now. And then they give you no context or explanation. It's like, okay, I guess. Garcia, what's up? Saludos. I'm currently staying in San Antonio de Prado, but hoping to move back to Envigado area. Yeah, I've been to San Antonio de Prado. I could do everything there is to do in San Antonio de Prado in like half an hour. I'd be so bored. It's cool for a weekend. I like going there for like weekend trips and stuff. San Antonio de Prado. Isn't that the place that makes all the candies or like the desserts too? CBL Daddy, what's up? Poor Andrew. He's asked the same question 1,000 times. It's all good. I like to answer him. Colombian Spanish says, remember 2K? It feels here like if you have 8K there. Yeah. So Colombian Spanish makes a really great point. Remember that when whatever your budget is for here in Medellin, let's say your budget is $2,000 and you're wondering if you'd have a good life in Medellin with $2,000. Imagine that, multiply that by 4 wherever you are. If you're living on $2,000, let's say in Southern California, what kind of a different life would you live if you were making $8,000 a month in Southern California? Let's say not in like downtown Los Angeles or like the suburbs or whatever, but maybe like in Riverside or whatever. $4,000, $8,000 a month. You could do a lot with that. Even living in like Orange County and stuff, you could be doing really well. That's what it feels like here. If you're making $2,000 in Medellin, it feels like if you were making $8,000 in the United States. I hope that brings it into perspective. Casper, what's up? Casper says $2,000 a month. You need to share a room still? No, only if you're going the Airbnb route. That is untrue. Only if you're going the Airbnb route and you want to live or you want to live in El Poblado and you you don't want to go through a 1-year contract, or you want to live in a penthouse. Like, it's like you've got to be realistic too, right? Like some unfurnished apartments in El Poblado are $1,000. Like the penthouses apartment, up in the hills and stuff, are about $1,000 a month. Some go over $1,000 a month. I don't even live in those. I don't want to live in those. I can't justify paying over $1,000 rent in my life right now because it's just me and my girlfriend who's pregnant, and I've got other apartments here. So when she gets pregnant, I'm just going to put her in one of those while, the baby's born with her mom and take care of the baby. Like, I've got it all planned out. So for me, it doesn't make sense to go into a yearly contract for over $1,000 in a penthouse up in the hills when I have an amazing apartment in an amazing neighborhood, right? That it just doesn't make sense. But if you go the local route, for example, I pay $450 for this 3-bedroom apartment, and I went the local route 7 years ago. If I were to rent this apartment right now as a local, if this was vacant and they rented it through the local rental agency, they would get what, like $600, maybe $650 a month right now at the current way that by the standards of which rentals are going right now. The neighbors below, they just got into their apartment. They're a Colombian family. They got into the apartment about a year and a half ago, or 2 years ago, and they're paying about $600 a month. And literally, it's the same building that I have an Airbnb downstairs, and I charge $2,500 on Airbnb in the same exact building. Obviously, I've gutted it and remodeled it, and it looks super high end. If you look at any of the reviews, it's brand new. I've had 4 people in it. All 4 reviews are the same. They can't believe how amazing it is. But it's a big difference between that apartment and my apartment, that's never been remodeled in the last 30 years. Garcia says, I want to apply for the digital nomad visa, but waiting to start a company. Should I get a shareholder agreement in the next 2 weeks? I should get a shareholder agreement in the next 2 weeks. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good. But you don't have to have a company to get the digital nomad visa. You just need to be able to verify $800 worth of income. I think it's $800. I don't know if they upped it this year, but last year it was $800 worth of income through receipts or invoices, etc. You have a kid with a paisa, you're more than married now, bro. Don't worry, I got my attorney on that prenup, baby. I've got Mateo on that prenup, so Mateo's gonna help me out with that, hook me up with the prenup. Even if you move in together when you have a kid, you should have a prenup. So that's what we're doing right now. Craig Shell says, effort that Colombians of sourced on foreigners. Can you comment on that? Wait. Effort that Colombians of soured on foreigners. Can you comment on that? Also, do you have any comments on Bogota? Thanks. I have heard that Colombians have soured on foreigners. I don't understand. You mean like their sentiment towards foreigners has soured? That's not true at all. That's absolutely not true at all. I mean, everywhere you go, anywhere in the world, you're going to find people that are xenophobic. But if you're asking whether the majority of Colombians are now xenophobic towards foreigners, that's absolutely not true. I don't know where you would get that information. I haven't even seen that information on the internet. Now, I haven't even seen that information in the Facebook Expat groups or Facebook Medellin groups, which are the most toxic and hateful and hurtful groups. I haven't even heard that there. And they're the ones that would be spewing that vile nonsense. So I think it's absolutely not true. Comments on Bogota. I love Bogota to visit. I love visiting Bogota. I love going there because there's always something to do. I wouldn't want to live there because, for one, the nicer parts, like in the north, are more expensive than living in El Poblado. That's just a fact. And number two, it's cold. I don't like the cold weather. I prefer the weather in Medellin, which is basically every day perfect for me. It's 70 and humid. 70 and about 50% humidity year round. There's no seasons. There's rain sometimes, but then there's no rain, and it's just perfect for me. I don't know what you would, if you don't like humidity, it might not be for you. If you don't like some heat, because it can get up to 80 degrees sometimes, it's not for you. But if you like the cold, Bogota is for you. I have a couple friends that are foreigners and Colombians, like paisas, that live in Bogota because they love the cold. They're like, man, I can't stand the weather in Medellin. It's too hot for me. I don't know. They're hot blooded or something. I'm the opposite. I like hot weather. I grew up in Southern California and loved the summertime when it was over 100 degrees. Be at the beach every day. What's up, NY? Man, that's cheap. I should move there. Yeah, but again, if you're coming down here just to visit, you're not going to find those deals. If you come here to visit, you're probably going to get on Airbnb or be sharing an apartment with someone somehow, some way. And then once you're down here and you've got your feet on the street here, then you'll start finding deals like this. But there's a few things that you need to do. CBL Daddy says, Andrew, I'm staying in Guayabal, west of Poblado. Is that a good neighborhood in general? I would say so. I mean, there's that park there, which is cool. Yeah, I like Guayabal. It's fairly close to El Poblado. Casper says every digital nomad visa holders are waiting how much Colombia will tax them. How much Colombia? Yeah, Colombia could tax you if you are. Well, I mean, if you become a tax resident, you just are liable to whatever the Colombian tax code is. I don't know if there's a separate tax for digital nomads. That's interesting. Julian Hurtado, very smart prenup. You never know. You got to protect yourself. Yeah, I mean, shoot. I've been in the workforce since what? I was 15, 16? So yeah, I've worked for a lot of years, like 25 years or so. I don't intend to give that up just because I'm living with someone. No, I think Colombians love foreigners. Yeah, some Colombians really, really love foreigners. Some Colombians are impartial, and some will probably hate them. I don't know many because obviously I'm like a semi-foreigner. So if someone hates foreigners, they probably would hate me. Yeah, they're fed up with foreigners coming to Colombia. Yeah, Craig, I have not heard of that. Like I said, I have Colombian neighbors, and I've got an Airbnb in this building. I live on the 5th floor. My next door neighbor is my business partner, and he owns his own apartment. He's from Canada. My other neighbor downstairs is Richard, who's from Scotland. So in total, it's 3 of us that I guess I could be considered a foreigner, but I'm not. I'm Colombian. But they know. They treat me as a foreigner. And shoot, during the holidays, they're inviting us over to their apartments for drinks, for dancing, meeting their daughters, literally just like, hey, here's my daughter. Like trying to hook us up with their daughters. Just things like that. That's been happening here since I got here for 14 years ago. It's still the same thing. I think it just depends on what kind of foreigner you are. I think Colombians are fed up with the foreigners that are coming down here as sex tourists. That would make sense. I'm fed up with those guys too. I mean, but other than that, it's fine. Chris says, what is Colombia? Really true. Yeah, I'm over the whole you thing. It's like, am I gonna go? How does a Japanese person spell and say Colombia? It's not the same way we say it. I mean, it's just a retarded argument. As long as they know where it's at and knows and can pronounce it, it's fine. Like for example, how does a German spell Colombia? How does a French person spell Colombie? They say Colombie. We going to go correcting the world? I've got better things to do. I don't care. Elvis. Hey, Andrew, sorry I said Pereira or Santa Rosa because I know for fact some local places pick on you or have animosity against expats because then blame on for the increase in Medellin. Yeah, I still have yet to meet a person that tells me that, to my face. Maybe they think it behind my back and don't tell me it. But all of my Paisa friends, granted, I do have discussions about it, and sometimes I have to school them on the fact that, Colombia has had nearly double-digit inflation, as a whole of a country. And I ask them what they were paying for a bag of milk, 2 years ago compared to now, or a piece of meat 2 years ago compared to now. And then I ask them, is that because of foreigners? Or is it because of our own government's dumbass dealings with our economy and printing money? right? It's like inflation's inflation. Rental market has gone up, but that's the only thing that some foreigners have affected in some areas. Like what is a foreigner going to be doing in Manrique? Why have rents in Manrique, in Bello, in La Sierra, places that are like 100% Colombians? Maybe one foreigner has ever even been up there. What does that have to do with tourism in El Poblado and Laureles and rents? So sometimes I do have to school people, but for the most part, they don't care. Miles, a bag of milk. Yeah, milk is sold in bags here. I think they spell it with a K and a U. Yeah, so it's like, why am I going to tell a German that he's wrong? Ricardo says, can we find a wife in Colombia if we move there and are genuine? No, Ricardo. CBL Daddy says, I leave Saturday. My only wish is to meet Andrew. You better keep wishing. No, I'm just kidding. Ricardo, you can find a woman anywhere you want. Work on yourself first. Be a great person. Be an interesting person. Work on yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, and you'll find someone. Or more than anything, you will not find someone, you will attract someone, which is different than you hunting. Hunting sucks sometimes. I do like the chase or like the hunt of a new girl, but it's not really chasing or hunting if she's attracted to you because of who you are physically, spiritually, and psychologically or mentally, right? It's still not a hunt, right? Miles, I lived in Medellin for 2 years, but I never heard of anyone heard anyone say it in English. A bag of milk. Yeah, I literally these are the conversations that I have with people that just tell me, oh, foreigners should stop coming here. I literally last week I had someone tell me that because I asked them, what do you think about foreigners coming to Medellin? They're like, they should visit, but they shouldn't live here because they're raising rent prices. I'm like, foreigners are raising the rent prices? Does that mean that they own all of the properties that they're staying in? Because last I heard, 95% of all the properties owned in all of Colombia are Colombian owned. So that means that at least 95% of the properties in Medellin are owned by Colombians. So Colombians are raising the rents because they see an opportunity to make more money, hence increasing rents in areas like El Poblado and parts of Laureles. Inflation is forcing others to raise rents in lower income neighborhoods because we almost hit 10% inflation this year, which is pretty big. But I mean, it's a lot. Almost, it was like 9.8% inflation this year. So imagine if someone doesn't know this and they just see that prices of rent are going up, and I'm just like a person that barely finished high school or maybe didn't even go to college, or maybe did go to college, maybe has a career, but is now being affected because the rents are up, and then they see a post on Facebook saying that there's gentrification happening, and I don't do any research, and I don't know about economics because that's most of the population. Most people in the United States are the same way. Not everybody in the world knows about macroeconomics and inflation and cost of living. They're not abreast to that information. They're not doing this type of research. So when they see a social media post from an influencer saying, xenophobic things like, rent prices are going up because of tourists coming in here and it's their fault, then they're going to buy into that. And it's just ignorance. So sometimes you do have to school people. But that's okay. That's what we're here for. Julian says, even water are sold in bags, and water in bags taste yummy, and it's different. I only get bags of water when we used to play basketball. We'd get it for the whole team. We'd get like 30 of them. Elvis says, Andrew, you are doing a great job cleaning the image of Colombia. The pay to play es una plaga mala. It's a bad thing. I've got mixed feelings on that, Elvis, the pay to play. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about it because I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm pretty conservative when it comes to I guess, politics and the way things are ran. Even in my life, I'm very strict. I'm very determined. I'm very disciplined, and I'm very consistent, and I'm very persistent. So when it comes to the whole pay to play or prostitution, it's like the rules are the rules. It's legal in Colombia. So if people are coming to indulge in that, then I can't. It's not. I can't say that I hate those people coming here because my own government and the people that we've voted for have made it legal. The people that we've put in power and our morals and principles are, as a Colombian community, as Colombians, we're allowing this. So if my people want to allow this, then there should be some order to it. What I don't like is the fact that there is no order right now, that there's just, people, picking up people off the street, bringing them to their house, and those people could be up to unscrupulous things, trying to drug someone, trying to rob them, instead of performing the service that they are exhibiting or that they are advertising on the street. So if that is going to continue, I think it has to be organized. It has to be moved somewhere where it's safer, or just get rid of it. Like that. I mean, ideally, it would be getting rid of it, but it's not my position to do that or to say that. It's more of like, okay, how can we make this safer for those that are going to come here because my country has made it legal, and it's I can't say anything else about that. That's the way I feel. Let's see. Julian says, I saw an expat in YouTube that works remotely, and he has a cleaning business that he handles remote in Texas, and it seems he sells a class to make you learn he does it. He's in Medellin. Wow, that's an amazing business. I have a friend that had a cleaning business years ago in Southern California. He used to make a killing. He would do the cleaning of offices, like, in office parks and stuff. And he had a whole crew. He had various crews. He was Mexican. It was a family business. Like, his mom started as a cleaner and his dad used to clean as well. Then he took over the business, hired more people. Before it was just his mom and his dad basically started cleaning, and then like one of his aunts helped him, and then eventually he took over and hired more people and made it a legitimate business. And he made a killing cleaning offices in the United States every night. It was they clean at night. Colombian Spanish says, I'm going to focus on edit this video about Colombian accents now. Saludos. Thank you, Colombian Spanish. Go check out his YouTube, guys, Colombian Spanish. He's a great Spanish teacher. He was live with me last time. Buddha says, people are people wherever you go. I have some fascinating conversations in the States with folks that get all their info from partisan sound bites on both ends of the spectrum. Yeah, I think that's the most important thing, is to be able to get everyone's kind of perspective on things. So that's why, even though I'm conservative on certain things, like, I also see it from the perspective of, I guess, like the liberal person, or the person that would want the other way around. And there has to be like somewhere where you meet in the middle, right? Like, for example, if I don't like the prostitution being legal here, but it's not my position to be judging and or telling people what to do, because my country has made it legal. But I could express that there should be some sort of safety measures being taken for those people that want to indulge in that, which is legal in my country. So it doesn't make sense to try to combat it with my words when it's it's legal. CBL Daddy, you're paying one way or another, my bro, but I get why there's a big problem here. Do it at a work establishment. La casa. Oh, las casas. Yeah, I mean, exactly. There has to be some sort of control to it, but whatever. Some people will indulge in it. That's why people, I would say many of the men that come here, or that used to come here back in between 2015 and like now, a lot of the men that come down here is to indulge in that. I wouldn't say most, I would say a lot. A lot of the men that come down here from other countries is to at least it's because it's piqued their curiosity based on the YouTube videos and stuff that they've heard online or seen online. I can safely say that, and I don't think there's shame in that. What I do think there's shame in is someone that just comes down here to do that only, and only stays here for that, because Medellin has so much to offer. Like if you come down here for that, let's say you come down here for a bachelor party, and you're coming down here to party with women, because that's what bachelor parties down here do. I know, I've seen them all. I've not all of them, but I've seen many of them. And you come down here and you don't realize that Medellin has so much more to offer, then it's better that you don't come here, right? Like the city could do without you. Okay, so we're talking about the type of people that shouldn't come down here. The first type of person that shouldn't come down here is someone that wants a tranquil, peaceful, quiet life, and fade into nothingness as they retire and wait to die. Because Medellin does not allow for that, because for the most part, it's pretty chaotic. It's a larger city. It's like, in the city itself, it's like 2.5 million. In the vicinity, it's over 4 million people. And you're not going to get peace and quiet, because it's a pretty dense city, especially in places like Laureles, Belén, anywhere that you don't have to pay a lot of money to be in. It's gonna be dense. It's gonna be dense, and there's gonna be noise. And Colombians love noise. I don't know what it is about us. I think it's because we grew up with it. It doesn't bother us, and I guess it's not that we love noise, but it doesn't bother us as much as people that grew up without noise. So that's the number one. The first person that shouldn't come down here is someone that is expecting for this to be a peaceful, tranquil place to be. The second type of person that shouldn't come down here is the person that only has $500 a month budget, or even $1,000 or less budget. If you're coming from a first world country and your budget is only $1,000 or less, work on getting a bigger budget so that you can enjoy and offer Medellin something, right? Not just live on, share a room with someone in a low income. You're going from a first world to live in the ghetto in a ghetto place in a third world or a developing nation. That seems backwards to me. That's my opinion. You could do whatever you want with your life. I had to do that. That's why I don't recommend it. When I got deported in 2010, I didn't have a budget. I had zero budget. I had to sleep on my cousin's couch in Bogota, and then I got a local job. And my budget for a long time was $500 a month. And then I started making $1,000 a month, and then $2,000, and then now whatever it is now. But it started with that, and it sucked. Eating sardines and bread at night, like that was literally my dinner sometimes. Rice and bread. Sardines was a luxury actually, because sardines were expensive back in the day. I don't know how much they are now. I'm vegan. I never buy them. But back in the day, anything that was canned was actually kind of expensive. So yeah, it was more like rice and beans for dinner and bread. God bless you and your family, Andrew. Thank you, 69. God bless you too and your fam. Hope you guys are having a great day today. So yeah, so that's the case with the budget thing. If you're coming with a lower budget, you're not gonna have that much fun. You're not gonna be doing the things that you want to do. The other type of person that shouldn't come to Medellin, where's my list, is the person that doesn't speak Spanish. If you don't speak any Spanish at all, you're not going to enjoy Medellin as much as you would like to. I'm not saying that you shouldn't come. I'm saying that type of person will not enjoy Medellin as much as the person that does know some Spanish. So if you do plan on coming to Medellin, start getting a tutor. You can go to italki.com or the italki app. I think it's an app. I've never used it, but italki, I hear, is very good. You could get a Spanish tutor from Colombia to be on with you one-on-one, and it's super cheap. You can even get Spanish tutors by going to the Facebook groups here and seeing who teaches Spanish and asking for referrals and working with someone that actually lives in Medellin and that could tell you about the life here, of the culture here, and you can start learning that way. If you don't know Spanish, you're going to miss out on a lot of things that Medellin has to offer, and also miss out on a lot of the nuances within the actual culture itself. So you definitely want to start learning Spanish some way or another. If you don't know Spanish, that's where a lot of people also get things lost in translation and they don't understand. Or, for example, I've seen this. I've heard of this happening so many times from first person, people telling me this, that they're getting picked up in a taxi, and the taxi driver gets a call and he starts talking on the phone, and that person starts to panic because he doesn't know if he's talking about him and that he's going to sequester him and rob him. And it turns out that the taxi driver is talking to his wife or to another taxi driver about what happened the other day or whatever their raise is going to be for the next year or whatever it is. But I've heard that so many times where someone that doesn't understand the language gets like in a taxi and the taxi driver starts talking on the phone, and they go into a panic and they start making up a story like this guy's going to be, murdering me or kidnapping me or robbing me. And when it was completely innocent. So if you don't know the language, you can come across these situations that will just suck for you. So I highly recommend that you learn some Spanish, even if it's just the basics, right? Because that's where you start. And then once you're here, you'll be immersed in it and you'll start talking and practicing. Buddha says, I can recommend both Pimsleur and Babbel as well. Oh, I've never heard of Pimsleur, but I've used Babbel for French. Colombian Spanish says, or you can always book a class with me. Yeah, that's true. You could always book a class with David. He's great. So the type of person that shouldn't come here to live here full-time or part-time, if you're here as a traveler, I think it's fine if you don't know any Spanish and you're here for like a couple weeks. But if you're planning to have a life here, you should learn some Spanish. And if you've got time wherever you're at right now in life and your dream is to live in Medellin even part-time, why not start making that dream come true by taking online courses? I mean, there's free online courses on YouTube, tons of them. So there really is no excuse. Okay, so the next type of person, Unfriendly says Pimsleur is your best bet. Really? I got to check it out. You just started yesterday? Let's go. I'm going to check it out, actually. Let me write this down. I got my handy-dandy notebook here. Who remembers Blue's Clues? I think you guys are all too old for that. I had a little brother that watched Blue's Clues, so not that I watched it. Pimsleur. Is that an app or a website? I'll check it out. Pimsleur. I'm gonna be. I learned French on my. I learned French like 7 years ago. About 7 years ago. I still retained a lot of it, but I need to go back to it. Pimsleur and Babbel. So I'll check that out. And on top of that, one of my goals for 2024 is to learn Portuguese, because I want to go to Brazil. I want to check out Brazil. They give you a 30-minute lesson a day, and it's free? Wow. Sorry, this thing is going. Okay, there we go. Wow, and it's free? That's crazy. Okay, so the next type of person that shouldn't come to Medellin is the person that can't live with... How can I put this? Okay, the person that shouldn't come to Medellin or live in Medellin full-time or even part-time is the person that doesn't like flakiness, or the person that values or highly values punctuality. You shouldn't come to live in Medellin if you have no patience for people that are not punctual. You should not. I'll rephrase that so that it's more clear. I think you understand though. You shouldn't come to live in Medellin, either part-time or full-time, if you can't stand people that are not punctual. Because for the most part, many Colombians are not punctual. I would venture to say that most Colombians are not punctual. And you'll find out one way or another. And I'm talking about people that are just living a regular life and have regular jobs, to the people that are high-level executives and professionals at their trade, and that can stand to make a lot of money to be early to a meeting. Those people will be unattentive, or what do you call it? Not punctual. Unpunctual. Is that a word? I should know this as an English teacher. Yeah, it is a word. Unpunctual. So Yeah, they should. So if you value your time too much and you don't and you can't and you don't have wiggle room and you're not flexible with people that are not on time to meetings, that are not on time to whether it's like a real estate agent, whether it's a date, whether it's a bank person. If you're impatient with unpunctual people, you're not going to make it in Medellin. You're going to hate it here. It's $20 a month, but you get access to 51 languages. Wow. Wow, $20 a month. That's an incredible deal. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I'll have to check it out for sure. So yeah, so I remember when I first got here in in 2010, I came from Southern California and I worked in Southern California and I had obviously the gringo mentality towards time, and I still do, and I still hold it dear to my heart. I'm always punctual, no matter if other people are late, and even though it's the norm to be late, I'm always early to things, and I let people know, and just by me doing that, most people, well, all of my employees and contractors and people that I work with know that if they're late, I don't like that. I don't like it, especially if it's dealing with my money. So everyone that I know that I pay is on time and get things done on time. Otherwise, I just don't do business with them. But for like a social setting, I'm always early or on time, and I don't care if other people are late. It just doesn't matter to me. I'd rather be seen as the person that comes on time than the person that always comes late. That's just my prerogative, right? Work on your language app while you wait. Yeah, that's true. You could use, what is it? You could use Pimsleur while you're waiting on people to show up. For a long time, I would just play like Call of Duty Mobile while I waited. Literally, I was a beast at Call of Duty Mobile, just waiting on people when we were buying the apartments back like 2 or 3 years ago. It was crazy. Jeff R says, "Good evening, Andrew. Totally agree about the flaky and unpunctual about people here." Yeah, I mean it's a matter of fact. Even Colombians will tell you it's so. Colombians themselves will tell you that they are unpunctual, and that's just the way it is. And people expect to not be on time. If someone says, "Hey, the party's at 9," especially a party, the party starts at 9, and you get there at 9, they'll be like, "Why are you here so early?" It's like I've had that happen to me. Like, why? It starts at 9, but we didn't mean for you to get here at 9. Like, what? Why would you tell people to come at 9 then? It's so funny the way that happens, but it's true. The flakiness is a real deal here. And if that's a deal breaker for you, then Medellin is not going to be the place for you, because you're going to run into that all over the place. I think Latin America as a whole is probably not going to be the place for you, if you want to not deal with that. For example, dealing with like real estate agents. Sometimes I would schedule an appointment to go see a property, and they would either be 15, 30 minutes late, or sometimes not even show up. It didn't happen frequently. I'm not saying this happens all of the time, but out of 10, 1 or 2 will do that. So that's frequent to me, because in the United States, it would hardly ever happen. But here, 2 out of 10 is frequent. CBL Daddy says, "Buddha, I will do the same." Yeah, Buddha, you got a year of Pimsleur, $12 a month. Oh, dang! Now that's commitment, Buddha. That's definitely commitment. Hey guys, if you guys haven't hit the like button, can you guys please hit the like button? We've got 6 likes, but we got 43 people watching. I know I do the same thing too. When I watch people, I always either forget to hit the like button, or just get caught up doing other things because I'm just listening. So if you do have the time and the means to hit the like button, I would appreciate it if you did. Thank you. Let's see, what else? Any details on the upcoming get-together here? Jeff, yeah, we're going to be, I still don't have the location, but it's going to be on the Saturday the 27th. Even if it's just 2 people, I don't care. I'm not doing it because I want to get a giant crowd. I'm doing it because I genuinely want to meet the people that watch my channel, that want to network, that want to discuss their life here in Medellin, or just make a new friend. Even if it's just 1 or 2 people, it doesn't matter. It's going to be the 27th around 8 p.m. I'm thinking 8 p.m. because, to avoid traffic and all that stuff. 8 p.m. and it'll probably be somewhere in El Poblado in either Manila or I want to stay away from Provenza because it gets so crowded. Probably either Manila or Astorga or Parque del Poblado area. I've been talking to a few venues there that have like rooftop bars and stuff that could give us space for some people. So yeah, we're going to be having a get together, guys. If you want to meet me and meet the other people that are watching the channel, you should definitely come down the 27th. Make sure to click on the Facebook page in the description to follow. Paige, you rock and your videos are immensely useful. Thanks for all the time spent on us. Thanks so much, Paige. I appreciate that. Buddha says, I'm committed to the like button too. Thank you so much for hitting the like button. Remy Travels. What's up, Remy? How you doing? Remy, I've watched your channel, man. Good job with your channel. I love it. I want to move to Medellin soon. I thought you lived in Medellin already. Or either that or you travel to Medellin. But yeah, moving to Medellin is a big deal. It's a big commitment. A lot of people want to move down to Medellin, and a lot of people, I think the biggest obstacle for a lot of people is the income for moving to Medellin. I started the Medellin Masterclass with AK back in September. We have 18 students now for the Medellin Masterclass. The Medellin Masterclass, the regular Medellin Masterclass costs $1,500, and it's 6 hours worth of content. It's an online course that you take with 21 modules that teaches you everything from renting an apartment that's not on Airbnb to get a lower price, to understanding all of your visa options, where the visa lawyer gets on in that module and teaches you what all the visa modules are, what all the visa options are, from learning how to buy real estate here. I go through the process of buying property here. I've bought 5 of them myself, to putting them up on Airbnb, how to start a business. We go over that as well. So it's 21 modules, 6 hours of information. We've sold 18 of those, guys. And we've gotten our first 2 women that bought them. Before it was like 16 guys, like literally everybody that bought were guys. The last 2 people that bought the masterclass that are committed to living in Medellin and are taking it right now, wherever they are in the world. One is in Kuala Lumpur, the other is in the United States, are women, which I think is amazing, but because it's testament to 2 things. Number one, that my content is reaching not only guys that are horny for paisa women, but number 2 is that Medellin is attracting all sorts of people, not just guys that are horny for women. It's everybody that wants to live a great life. So it's a really good sign. So that's the Medellin Masterclass. And on top of that, we have a community of people that we meet every month. For example, we're having our first Zoom meeting, we call it the Inner Circle, the Medellin Masterclass Inner Circle meeting. We do a Zoom call every month, and then we do an in-person meeting every month, because not everybody that's taking the Masterclass is in Medellin. A lot of them are, I would say half of them live in the United States, and they're preparing to move down here, selling things off, getting things packed up to ship down here, etc. So for those that can't make it, we do a Zoom mastermind, an Inner Circle mastermind. Tonight's topic is going to be about our 2024 goals for living in Medellin, what we want to achieve out here. So we're all going to get on a call and do that. So that's part of the masterclass. It's not like you take an online course and then you're on your own and like, here's the stuff, go do it. Thanks for giving me $1,500. No, it's the course, which we spent over 200 hours on. On top of that, it's a community where we meet twice a month, and we talk almost every day on that chat. Remy says, yes, but I want to move and have a base. Yeah, I understand that. I love Medellin being my base because Medellin is, number one, it has an international airport. And if I want to travel anywhere, I can leave out of Medellin pretty much anywhere I want to go in the world. But on top of that, it's just such a great place to be. I love living here. I've been here for 14 years now. And there's nothing better than, like, I've traveled to other countries, and every time I'm out more than a month, I'm like, when am I going back to Medellin? I already miss it. It's weird. It's something that happens. I don't know if it'll happen forever for me, but it's something that always happens to me since I've lived here. Unfriendly says, I signed up as a teacher for a Japanese company called Native Camp. You can make $2,000 a month teaching English online there if you want something remote and you are a native speaker. Yeah, unfriendly. My brother used to teach for Chinese kids before he worked for me. He was working online teaching Chinese kids and he was making like $30 an hour, $30 an hour. And that was like 7 years ago. EST, what's up? Let's go. How's it going? Hope you're having a great day today. Michael Sands says, hi, Andrew, masterclass member here. Yep, Michael Sands is a masterclass member. How do you let us know when the Zoom is? Also, is there any kind of refund if we get stabbed up, say in the first year? No, but there is a money back guarantee on the masterclass, but it's a 15-day money back guarantee on the masterclass. We've only had to return one because and it wasn't because he didn't like the masterclass. It's because he had family emergency that he had to deal with and he couldn't take it and he wasn't moving down to Medellin. So we're like, yeah, absolutely. You need to get your money back because you're not coming down. So yeah, Michael Sands, sorry. If you get stabbed, you're on your own. Well, just message us. We'll go to the hospital and visit. Yeah, so let's see. Okay, so we're talking about if you are this type of person, you should not come down to Medellin. Number one, if you are a person that has a low budget, maybe $500 or $1,000 or less, then you're not going to enjoy Medellin. Number two, if you're a person that loves peace and quiet and tranquility, you're not going to love Medellin. Third, if you're a person that speaks zero Spanish, living here long term is going to be difficult. You should start learning some Spanish. Number four, if you're a person that values punctuality, you're not going to like Medellin or its people. I know because I'm Colombian and my family is kind of like that too. And Colombians and even us Colombians will tell you that we are unpunctual. And we actually admire Europeans and Americans for their punctuality, which is kind of weird. I don't think anybody, Colombians might not flat out admit it, but it is true. It is a sentiment that I've heard paisas and other Colombians say about Americans and Europeans. Buddha, Andrew, what was it that initially had you move from Bogota to Medellin? I think it was a couple of things. Buddha, great question. So I was living in Bogota, and I lived there for 6 months, and I came down here, and right away I realized that it was so bright and green, because it was a stark contrast with Bogota. Bogota was darker and cloudy and rainy and cold, and immediately when I got here, it was sunny, it was warm, and it was vibrantly green. Like Bogota has a lot of greenery too, but here it's like lush green. It's vibrantly green. Sometimes you'll see a lot, not sometimes, but a lot of the times you'll see a lot of flowers with colors, a lot of plants and trees with various colors, purples, greens, reds, yellows, like vibrant colors. And on top of that, I felt that Medellin was more organized. Like those were the stark contrasts that I made between living in Bogota for 6 months and 1 week in Medellin. I was here for a week in a hostel with a friend of mine, a gringo friend of mine that came to visit. We both were in Bogota, and we took the bus from Bogota to Medellin and got here to a hostel, the Black Sheep Hostel, and we stayed in that hostel for 2 weeks, actually. Sorry. We were there for 2 weeks, and immediately I saw those distinct differences. I'm like, this place is more organized. For example, one very subtle example is this. When you go on the metro, you'll see people that are going in the metro, or in line for the metro, they'll stand to the right. And the people going to let people come down, like going up and down the stairs. People are going up the stairs, stand on the right or go up through the right, and people going down the stairs are on the left. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but I noticed that because in Bogota, it's all fucking chaos. It's like the Transmilenio. It's who can push the hardest, really. And I know that, granted, I've been here for 14 years, and for some of those years, for 5 of those years, I worked downtown as an English teacher, so I had to take the metro. So I know that during peak hours it can get pushy, but for the most part, Medellin is more organized, and there's more organization to the chaos than there is in Bogota. And to be honest, I felt safer in Medellin than in Bogota. In Bogota, I lived in Suba, which is towards the north, and I worked in downtown Bogota. And I had to take the Transmilenio, which took me almost an hour to get from the north to the downtown area of Bogota, and I worked at a call center there. In downtown Bogota, I felt very unsafe. Here, I lived a year and a half in downtown Medellin, and I never felt as unsafe as walking through the streets of downtown Bogota. I feel like the safety, I felt back then that the safety level was higher for me in Medellin than it was in Bogota. So those were the stark differences. And then I saw the women. I was a single guy, 28 years old, and the women in the 6 months I was there, I met one girl, and she was caleña, so she wasn't even from Bogota. She was caleña. She was beautiful. Went out a couple times, but like I didn't meet any other like Bogotana girls. Like even the women that I worked with, I worked at a call center. Imagine how many people there must have been, like at least 200 or 300 people working in that building, because it wasn't just one floor. It was a building of people for a U.S. company. It was an English call center for a phone line. It was like one of those phones that they sell at Walmart, like those throwaway burner phones. It was for one of those brands that would do customer service in English for people that were buying them out there. So imagine there was probably at least 200 people there, and there was maybe one really good-looking girl. And when I got here in the first week I was here, I was floored. I am still surprised. It's been 14 years, and it ceases to amaze me. I don't know what it is. It's the water, the beans, the rice, what it is, whatever it is, it's working. So yeah, those were the stark differences that I noticed when I first got here 14 years ago. All right, where was I? Sorry. Let's see. There it is. Okay, so Christian Lopez says, going to Medellin tomorrow for a week. Any bar recommendations to watch the Cowboys game? Yeah, Highway or Patrick's Irish Pub. Highway or Patrick's Irish Pub. If you're going to be in Laureles, go to Medellin Sports Bar. It's off of La Setenta. Andrew, Buddha says, if you want some modules on how to get stabbed, maybe I can help with that. How to get stabbed. I think we're good on that. I think we got that covered. Okay, so we were talking about the people that won't like Medellin or like living in Medellin for long term. You definitely don't want to come down here if you're a punctual person. The other person that shouldn't come down to live in Medellin for a long time is the person that is after cheap hookups or cheap sex or fast sex. If that's the type of person that you are, then I do not recommend coming to live in Medellin full time. Because, well, let me rephrase that. So the person that won't enjoy or shouldn't come down to Medellin is the person that is looking for quick hookups, because there is no quick hookup culture here. Quick hookups is now becoming synonymous with prostitution. So that's what I've noticed on these YouTube channels, Facebook groups, etc. When someone talks about a quick hookup, it's not them hooking up organically with someone that they met at a bar. It's them basically, soliciting a girl, right? That's what it is. We'll call a spade a spade. So if that's who you are, you shouldn't come to Medellin, because those people are the people that are getting killed out here through overdosing of scopolamine or just fighting back to a crime that's trying to be committed on them, etc. Most of the people that were killed in 2023 were people that were soliciting a woman, whether it was on Tinder or off the street, bringing a couple of them back to their house. That's the type of person that was in danger. I think that's the prime type of person that is in danger in Medellin is that. Like if you're a regular tourist and you're coming down here to discover the culture, maybe practice your Spanish, maybe learn Spanish, take classes out here, go sightseeing, etc., you're going to be fine. I could venture to say that you're going to be safe. But if you're the type of person that's looking for paid hookups, then you run the risk of getting hurt. And you shouldn't be coming down to Medellin. That's what it is. Christian Lopez says, going to Medellin tomorrow? Oh, yeah, I saw that. Oh, Buddha says, how not to get stabbed. Oh, I said how to get stabbed. How not to get stabbed. Yeah, I mean, how not to get stabbed. I don't know many people who have been stabbed, first of all, here. Trying to think of one. Yeah, I don't know one person that's been stabbed in Medellin. I know one person that got shot in Medellin. He was drunk trying to break up a fight between a guy and a girl, and he got shot in like the stomach. Luckily didn't puncture anything, a major organ or anything, and he's alive and well. But that's one thing I would advise. If you see people fighting on the street, don't try to interject, even if it's a guy with a girl. You never know. In that case, my friend was trying to do the chivalrous thing and get between them, and he got shot because he was trying to hold down the guy, right? And he got shot like in the stomach, and then like the next weekend or something like that, not like months later, he said that he saw them together again, like that couple that were fighting up in Provenza area. I'm like, yeah, well, that's why you should never get in the middle of disputes, because you don't know who's fighting. Do you find that most people who moved there drive a car, or do they rely on public transportation? I think it's like 50-50. Some people have cars. Some people have public transportation. Some people just have a bicycle. For example, the people that do have cars that I know that are my friends, that don't work in the city, that are not paisas, let's say like foreigners that, or even locals that work online but have cars, they use their cars to travel out of the city. For example, go on a weekend trip to one of the neighboring towns. That's why they have the car, right? Buddha says, somebody on here mentioned concern about stabbings. I think your take on avoiding trouble is spot on. Yeah, it's pretty easy not to get in trouble in Medellin. I think in most places in the world, it's pretty easy to avoid getting in trouble. I mean, I've avoided it for 14 years, and I still like to have fun. I go out. I will, we'll go out with friends on weekends. I'll go out by myself to the bar, have a few beers. Somebody will buy me a shot. Recently, a lot of people have been buying me shots. Every time I go to Highway, I haven't been to Highway in like a week and a half now, because the last time I was there, I met 3 of you that watch my channel were there and all bought me shots. I'm like, okay, I can't keep going back every Thursday night football, Monday night football, Sunday night football. So now I'm just going once a week. Because it would be rude of me to say no, right? You didn't teach this Indian guy, Raj, real estate investor, to stay low key. He was telling everyone on the internet that he is rich, gonna tip my Colombian friends so they know who to. Yeah, Thin Line Media. I don't know anything about that. We don't. I guess we're not his mom and dad. If you want a mom and dad, you could pay me a little bit more, and I could be your dad, tell you what not to do, and reprimand you. But he's a grown man, so I don't know if that's true or not, because I haven't heard it. But regardless, I ain't nobody's daddy. Only my girls and my baby, who she is carrying. Yeah, so that's the thing. Yeah, so, but AK shared a Zoom meeting. I don't know what he's talking. Oh, you're talking about the video. Yeah, I mean, I didn't see anything wrong with that. I tell people what I do for a living. I mean, I guess if you're going to live scared, I guess that's another, I guess the the last two people that shouldn't be coming to Medellin is number two is the person that's looking for a quick paid hookup out here, soliciting women off the street or on Tinder. And then the number one person that shouldn't come down to Medellin is the person that's scared. That's scared because they have seen things online and they think that everybody out here is out here to get them, and they're going to get kidnapped, they're going to get killed, they're going to get stabbed, they're going to get drugged, and they're going to get robbed. If that's constantly on your mind, please don't come to Medellin because you're not going to enjoy it. That's not the way I live my life. Otherwise, I would not be here sharing my life with you. You guys literally know where I live. If I were scared, I would not be doing this. And if you're scared of that, I mean, you don't have to be like me and tell everyone what you do. But if you're scared of even just going out and doing regular things, then Medellin is not for you because there's so much news out there worthy of being scared of that you're not going to enjoy your stay here. You know, always looking over your shoulder, being paranoid. I would hate to live like that. That's like a nightmare, right? To live in a place where you always have to look over your shoulder and being scared. So if you've been protected your whole life, maybe lived in the United States in a city or in a neighborhood or in a town, I guess, that is very safe, and you've never seen anything really outside of that, then maybe just a visit to Medellin just to maybe quell your curiosity. But to live here, yeah, you might as well just go back. Or there's tons of other countries in the world that are way safer that don't have this bad reputation that Colombia and Medellin has. Because Colombia and Medellin have had a bad reputation for decades, if not centuries. So it's not like we're running away from it. And a lot of people will come to Colombia and be scared and not have a great time. I've known a couple of people that have come down here and they're like, I hate it here because I'm always paranoid of something happening to me. And I always ask them, well, what happens to you? What's happened to you? And they're like, nothing, but I read this or I saw this online, etc. It's like, well, then why are you here? Just go to like the Thailand or something, or go to, I don't even know. I was going to say Mexico, but Mexico is not even that safe. You know, I guess there are parts of Mexico that are super safe for sure. But yeah, Colombia is not the place for you. If you want like that cookie cutter, leave it to beaver life, Medellin is not going to be it. That's it. Thin Line Media says, yeah, but most Colombians keep their mouth shut if they earn a lot of money and not talk about it. Yeah, but I follow a lot of YouTubers that talk a lot about it. Like a lot of Colombian YouTubers and influencers and reggaeton stars and media personnel and sports stars and business owners here and club owners here. So, I mean, again, they're not scared. But if you are scared, stay away or just live a low-key life. Norte Sur, I rather chill in Medellin than anywhere in Detroit or Baltimore. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, those are apples and oranges, man. I'm sure Baltimore and Detroit probably have safer neighborhoods than Medellin does, but they probably have more dangerous neighborhoods than Medellin does too. So it's like kind of apples and oranges. My friend, I lived here 5 years, had a YouTube page, was nervous the entire time. He moved to Bali. My friend lived here you mean here in Medellin for 5 years? He had a YouTube page, was nervous the entire time. He moved to Bali. Wow, that sucks. Yeah, well, I mean, it sucks that he had to do that, but it's his prerogative. I mean, like literally, I don't have fear because I don't have anything to be afraid of, really. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. But if I were paranoid and I were afraid, I would leave. I would be the first one to leave, and I would be the first one to tell you. And if that happens, I will obviously be expressing that on this channel from wherever it is that I moved to. But again, I've been here 14 years, haven't had to do that. I know David from Life with David's been on the internet for a while as well, and he's never been harassed or had to move or anything like that. So I think for the most part, people are okay, but it's just whatever it is that you get into, really. Yeah, Luis Diaz got kidnapped. Yeah, his dad and his mom got kidnapped recently. Yeah, again, there's a lot to be scared about, Thin Line Media, and if you're scared, stay home or go somewhere else. It's definitely that. That's what it is. Chris says pessimistic people shouldn't really visit if you think about it. Yeah, I mean, I think most people that travel or that are traveled aren't pessimistic. I mean, I'm sure there are exceptions, but I think people that travel a lot and that come down to Medellin, it's hard to be pessimistic down here, really. David was robbed his e-bike. Oh, really? You got his e-bike stolen? That sucks. Man, that really sucks. E-bikes are cool. Thin Line Media says, Koza says, it depends who you tell. If you traveled to other places where it wasn't fully safe, you should survive in Medellin. Okay. Yeah, even car culture, people driving and sharing video of their $100,000 US car. Yeah, I mean, I follow a lot of like people out here that one of my favorite guys to follow that talks about the Colombian stock market and Colombian economics. I mean, everyone knows who he is. I mean, and where he lives. It's not like a mystery. If someone really wants to kidnap you, they will. I mean, no matter what it is or who you are. But if you're going to live scared, it really sucks to live that way. And I don't suggest that you come here because it's not the ideal life to live in paranoia. I could just tell you my own experience. I'm not scared. I'm not scared of death. I'm not scared of the living either. So it's not like something that's going to deter me. Obviously, now I'm going to have a kid and I have a girl. So obviously, those type of things do cross my mind. But will I stop making a channel and showing you my great life? No, I mean, I don't think so. I don't have enough for anybody to want to take, right, that I own, right? So I don't know. Not scared, but you got to know what you deal with. Yeah, so you said it right. You got to know. Worry about yourself, not others. And that's what I tell people. Like, you can learn everything that you need to know about living in Medellin and how to be safe out here, but ultimately it's up to you. Don't worry about what I do or others do. It's everyone's own prerogative. As a matter of fact, it might be better for others to get kidnapped other than you. It makes flying under the radar better for you, right? If you're looking at the positive side. Yep, most people that who grew up in suburbs have no idea what lurks out there. Yeah, the Mimic says, is Uber safe for transportation in Medellin? Yeah, I only use Uber. I hardly ever will use a taxi. I always use Uber Comfort. That's like my go-to. Uber Comfort, because they're bigger cars. They got the AC. They're nicer cars too. So I always use Uber Comfort. But yeah, that's the type of people that a recap on the type of people that shouldn't come to Medellin. Number one is the person that values their silence and quiet and peace, no chaos. They just want to be tranquil. Maybe do yoga every day. If you're living in the city, you're probably going to come across a lot of noise. No matter where you're living, you're not going to, there's no way that you're going to get away from traffic. There's no way that you're going to get away, unless if you're just like a hermit in your apartment somewhere. That's the only way that you would get away from that. But why are you going to come live in Medellin and just be stuck in your apartment the whole time? So if you're looking for peace and quiet, Medellin is not the place. Number two, if you are on a low budget, under $1,000 a month, you're probably not going to enjoy your stay in Medellin. Number three, the person that values punctuality. If you value punctuality and can't stand people that are not punctual, you're not going to make it in Medellin, for sure. You're not going to make it. You're not going to like it because everybody is always late here to things. The next person is the person that doesn't speak Spanish. If you're going to come live here for any extended period of time, you should learn some Spanish. You should not you should not, you should not avoid learning Spanish because you're not going to enjoy the culture as much. And the other person that won't enjoy Medellin as much as a regular person would be someone that's coming here to look for paid hookups or prostitutes, etc., because those are the people that are getting drugged and killed out here, or overdosed and robbed, etc. And then finally, the number one person that shouldn't come down here is the person that's scared to come live here. There's no reason to even come down here. If you read the stuff online, if you watch the YouTube channels that talk about all of the negative things that happen out here, and you're scared that something's going to happen to you, don't come. My whole business, Medellin Masterclass, is to help people move to Colombia, and we charge pretty well. We charge pretty good money for our masterclass. And I'm telling you, I'm basically telling you not to come to Medellin if you're one of these people, especially if you are scared, if you even have an ounce of fear and doubt. Don't come to Medellin because it won't be the place for you, because you'll be living in paranoia. Your stay will suck. You won't be doing things that you enjoy, and you'll leave this country with a bitter taste in your mouth. You might as well just go somewhere that nothing ever happens, like, another country. Like, for example, I know that Thailand is super safe. Places like that where nothing will ever happen to you and there's no risk. You can leave your stuff laying around and no one will rob it. That's not going to happen here. And if you value that, then don't come to Medellin. Koza says, saying like if you survived the sketchy sides of Europe with common sense, you will survive in Colombia. Yeah, that's true. Buddha says, looking at the hard data reported, I'm very confident that Medellin is a good bet. Go in with eyes open and pay attention without drawing a lot of attention and enjoy it. Yeah, exactly. Koza says, if you look scared or act scared, you lost half the battle. I think that's usually with a bear, right? I think that could apply for anything, right? Yeah, I think it's like if you're in your heart, if you're scared. I mean, looking scared and acting scared is one thing because you could be doing it out of precaution, which is okay. But in your heart, if you truly fear living down here, why even come? Excuse me. I have to have the air conditioning on because it's so hot, but it's making me cough. Medellin is getting better. Yeah. I guarantee you in the next couple of years, Medellin will be safer and better. And then all the people that had written Medellin off are going to come down here and going to find that prices are even more expensive. We'll come back because I'm not going anywhere. We'll come back to this and to this exact video and this exact point in time, 6:45, January 10th, 2024, where I said in a couple of years, let's say 2 years, in 2026, January 10th of 2026, Medellin will be safer, but rents, hotel rooms, everything else will be more expensive. Those people that wrote Medellin off are going to want to come back but might not be able to afford it. That's just the way life works sometimes. Nice D&D reference. What's D&D? Dungeons and Dragons? Wheezy says a certain level of fear is okay so long as fear doesn't consume you. Similar to how MMA fighters look at fear. Yeah, exactly. You have to have a level of fear. Fear is good, in my opinion, because it keeps you on your toes, right? You should have a level of fear, but you can't let it consume you and roll over and die. Because if that is the case, then just not be in the place that makes you scared, for God's sakes. But if you embrace fear and you embrace chaos and you embrace basically a virgin city, Medellin might be for you. And if you have enough money right now to invest in a property in Medellin, it might be a good investment in the future. I say might because I don't know what your financial plans are. If you want to make dollars, investing in Medellin won't be the place for the long term on appreciation because the peso will always be devalued against the US dollar. I mean, that's what statistically and historically it always has been. But if you want to make rental income, You want to make Airbnb income. You want a good cap rate, good yields on your investment month over month. Medellin would be a good place to start. If you want to diversify and you want to own a property for the lifestyle that you have down here, and you embrace that lifestyle, then Medellin could be a great investment for you. But if it's like your first investment and you're taking all your money and you're going to come down to Medellin, I would tell you not to do that. I would say if you've got $80,000 to or between $80,000 and $150,000, which will get you a property here, a good property in a good area, with that budget, and you have no other investments, I would say start in the U.S. first. Buy a property in the U.S., invest in the S&P 500, even as if introductory, an ETF that will gain you some value for some of that money to start getting accustomed to investing and diversifying yourself, and then maybe look at buying something in Medellin, because right out the gate, Medellin, the biggest investment that you're making in Medellin is lifestyle. Buddha says, I agree. Wheezy, I agree completely. As a GI, the guys with zero fear were terrifying. There is a sweet spot between reckless and paralyzed. Yeah, I agree with that. I can't relate with the GI thing, but when I was in prison, the guys that enjoyed it were terrifying. The people that enjoyed their time there and that were institutionalized and that thrived in there, those guys were the scariest guys. And sometimes they weren't even the gang members. They were the guys that were like the lone wolves. That was like, yeah, we don't fuck with that guy. It was like, he'll wake up at 4 a.m, somehow get out of his cell and stab you in the ear. The type thing. It's like crazy shit like that. Those guys are like super scary. And I wouldn't want to be like that because I think they've got a screw loose. But a healthy level of fear is good. I was in the Navy, and me and my another female shipmate were almost kidnapped in Dubai years ago. Every place has its good and bad. It's up to you to choose wisely and find the good, make wise choices. Yeah, and as you get old, I mean, if you're over 50, over 40 even, you've lived enough to know what to do and what not to do in life, no matter where you go, right? You know when things can go down and when things can go sour. It's the younger guys that are getting in trouble out here. It's the younger guys that are getting drugged and robbed, but for the most part. Some of the older guys, some of these guys have been older that were reckless, and they could be an exception. But I would say that a lot of the people that do get robbed out here and get drugged by these women and stuff, it's younger guys that don't go unreported too. I know a few of them under 40s. They go unreported. They didn't die. Nothing happened. They just got robbed. Some got robbed for thousands or hundreds of thousands that I've known firsthand from crypto in the last 4 years. I know a couple of them. They're all under 40, and they were reckless. You know, youthful indiscretions. That's what George Bush called it when he was confronted with his cocaine use when he was under 30. He's like, it was a youthful indiscretion. And then nobody ever remembers that. Do you remember that? Koza says, I was looking at real estate in Medellin, and it was one of the best returns compared worldwide. Yeah, the yield here, for example, for me, for my Airbnbs, my yield is about 20%. And I'm being conservative. Again, I'm a conservative person. When I talk numbers, I always go lower because I don't want to make people think that I'm just embellishing. I try to actually go lower. My yield is over 20%, but I always tell people that my yield here is about 15 to 20%. That's my yield in Medellin. That's a really good return on an investment. When, you know, yield is usually about 6% to 7% or cap rates in Medellin. Vanessa says maybe there is a need for them to have someone that is like a dating coach, life coach there. Not even joking. I know, Vanessa. We were talking about that at the beginning of the stream, that there should be some sort of organized way of doing this because the country, my country, has deemed it legal. Even though my views on this is that it should be illegal and eradicated from the city, prostitution, and that would get rid of at least half of the problem, right? it would still be happening illegally, but at least it wouldn't be on the streets and people wouldn't be taking people off of the street. It would be more through closed doors and maybe even whatever. It's not illegal, but let's say it's legal now. There should be a way to actually control that. They should find a way to control it so that it's safer for everyone, for locals, for the girls themselves, and for foreigners. Whoever's, indulging in that. I can't judge on that. It's not my place to judge. I just want people to not die, doing something that is legal in the country. Legally, it's allowed. Is that yield just revenue that's just revenue? That's just monthly rental revenue. If I factor in appreciation, we're talking about like a pretty big return every year. Factoring appreciation, it's about like, what is it, 8-9% appreciation per year on mine, being conservative again, year over year, plus the yield on return of which is about like 20%. Let's just say 15%. So yeah, I'm clearing over 20% total yield, including appreciation. So yes, it is a very good return. I don't know how long this will last, because eventually I think in the next few years, we're going to see Medellin get safer, and then bigger investors coming in here, or people with a lot more money coming in here and buying out buildings, buying out blocks, making the city better and more expensive at the same time. I don't know how long this yield is going to last for, but if it lasts for another 5 years for me, all of my investments will have been paid off in full. Like they would have paid me back what I invested in them. So I'm okay with that. But again, my investment in Medellin is more of a lifestyle investment. It's great that I have a monthly yield, that I'm making money monthly on Airbnb, et cetera, on these apartments. I love that. It's great. And I'm putting all that into savings and investments in diversification, right? But in the long term, in the long run, the fact that I have these apartments, what it means to me is that if I need an apartment for my brother and his wife, I have one for them. If I need an apartment for my sister, if anything happens with her work or whatever, I have one for her. If my parents want to retire and they need an apartment, I have one for them. Like everything is covered. My girl can't go up the stairs because I live on the 5th floor, and she's going to be living with me. That's okay. We'll move downstairs to the first floor, and we've got that covered. That's what it means to me what I mean when I say that this is a lifestyle investment and a peace of mind investment for me. It's not going to be for everybody, but for me, that's what it means, because I live here full time. This is my country. This is where I live, and I plan on dying. I will travel to other places. I might even own property in other countries in the next few years, but this will be my home and where I will live out the rest of my life when that time comes. So that's what it is. I heard about 10 and it already sounded good as it, 10%. Yeah. Yield. Yeah. 10 is good. I mean, you get that from the S&P 500, right? Isn't that the average return over a few years? Buddha, I may move my time up a bit. Thanks, man. No problem. Michael Sands, are there traditional houses in Medellin or mostly apartments? Mostly apartments, but there are some like single unit apartment houses. The apartments are just better here historically, because Medellin has always had a safety issue and a crime issue. So the high rises with the security guard is obviously safer than having a single family home in a non-gated community. That's why you see so many apartments here. All right, guys, I got to get going. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys again on Saturday. Have a good night.